Sadhguruji, I don't mean to joke about this, but in recent research by a group of scientists, including professors from Harvard and Rutgers, they have mentioned there that there are really high number of anandamide released after yogic practices. Many people are questioning, isn't this the same thing that creates intoxication? So is yoga a substitute for a Friday evening or a Saturday evening drink?
No, this is those people who are not in yoga, they're using Saturday evening as a substitute. You're putting it the other way around. See, look at my eyes, I'm always stoned 24 hours. They are getting stoned only on the weekend. Tell me which is better. So one is, there is what is called as endocannabinoids that is produced in our body. There are cannabis receptors in our brain and right through the body. We have receptors. Why are they there? Because it's expecting that you produce this endocannabinoids. When you produce this, everything is at ease, your experience of life, both physically and mentally, is very pleasant. When your experience of life is pleasant, you naturally function at a higher level of efficiency and capability. Human potential is fully realized simply because you are not an issue in your life. There are 1,000 issues to handle in our lives outside, but you should not be issue. If you yourself, your own thought and emotion is one big issue, right now people are going about as if it's your right to have a mental problem. They're saying it's our right. Oh, why are you saying it can go away? It cannot go away. Human beings have to live with this. Why? Because if people think their diagnosis is the nature of being human, I'm very sorry for that. The important thing is, a human being is capable of having mastery over his or her system much more than any other creature on this planet. So yoga is the science which explores this dimension. And tell me, if you were also… when we talk about this, we talk about three dimensions. One is intoxication. I'm putting that in the front, but it's actually the last one. Intoxication, intensity of our energy and our experience, intensity of our senses, and stillness within ourselves. These three dimensions, if they are on every moment of your life, you are never the issue in the world. Within yourself, you are never the issue. There are outside situations that need to be handled, we will do it to the best of our ability. You tell me, Navika, you're doing whatever work you're doing right now, it's demanding in these times, this work that you're doing. Tell me, can you do this better when you're feeling wonderful or when you're feeling stressed and depressed?
Obviously, if one is feeling better, one performs to an optimum capacity at that time.
So if you are generating your own endocannabinoids, you will be feeling wonderful every moment of your life. Your mood is at your best level, you're joyful, you're blissful. When you're like this, you will function at your best. This is something that needs to happen. Well, you said 2 billion people, I'm terribly disappointed with that because this was my mission when at the age of 25, when things exploded within me and I was dripping ecstasy, I thought, what is the problem? On that day, the population was 5.6 billion people. I thought in 2.5 years' time, I will make everybody blissful. But here I am, nearly 40 years after that. But 2 billion people, well, I don't think that's a good number. 7 billion people, when you say, I will say yes, because that is the purpose of International Yoga Day, that everybody should have tools of self-transformation and well-being with them. The tools of self-transformation, the tools of being able to manage your own well-being from within should not be in the hands of an institution or a guru, it must be in the hands of every human being. That is when you will see a better world.
You're saying that, doing yoga can actually make you anxiety-free. But today, mental health is a real issue. Sadhguruji, we've lost a big Bollywood star, and that's come as an eye-opener to many people in this world on what mental stress can do to you. And mental stress has many dimensions. Mental stress happens because most of the Indians today are living in fear of the virus infection. There are some who are living in fear of losing their job. There are some people who are living in fear because their salaries have been cut. There are some people who are living in fear because they don't know. The future seems absolutely uncertain. Financial crisis probably is more evident now in virtually every other household than it ever was before. Do you think there is any scientific proof to tell us that mental health can be solved by yoga? Because the Bollywood star that I'm talking about was somebody who did a lot of physical exercises, was a very fit human being. How does mental health relate to this yogic practice?
Well, when you say, is there any scientific evidence? What scientific evidence means is that there are certain markers on the level of our physiological level, which is usually the blood markers. There are certain genome markers. There is BDNF, which is an important marker, the neurotropic markers. All these clearly show you can not only prevent these psychological ailments by doing the right practices, but you can come out of it also if you do it the right way. Only problem is when somebody is in a state of mental depression or other things, getting them to do the practice is a huge challenge. It's a very big challenge. Unless there are dedicated people around them, supporting them in every way to make them do it every day, it won't happen. That's what we do here. I can show you thousands of people who have come out of various mental problems by doing that, because we create a supportive atmosphere. This may not be possible in every home to make it happen. So the question is of application. If we can apply, will they come out of it? 100% it's possible. There are some pathological cases which are very hard. So there also we have seen such cases, whatever level of medication they were on, we have brought down that level of medication significantly. So about suicides that you're talking about, every year, 800,000 people are committing suicide in this world. Can you believe that? It's more than all the crime, murders, even wars put together. That many people don't die, that many people are taking their own life. This means every 40 seconds, one person is taking his own life. Only when somebody that you know dies, or only when somebody who is popular or significant in a society dies, everybody sits up. But every 40 seconds somebody is committing a suicide. We need to really look at this. Why are human beings want to take their own life? Simply because we have not inculcated anything in our education system which tells us how to handle our physiology and psychological structure. There are many ways to put this. The simplest way to put this is just this. Most human beings have not been taught how to handle their own intelligence. If you had half the brain that you have, you would have no mental ailments. Because you have a certain level of intelligence and you have no training, you have no social situation where you're being taught how to use this to your well-being, now your own intelligence is turning against you. When your intelligence turns against you, it looks so hopeless, as if there is simply no way out of it. That is what leads to, people committing suicide. Some may be committing suicide because of their life situations, but a whole lot of them are committing suicide just because of their psychological situations. That can easily be stopped if there is a proper system. Right from childhood, everybody is taught certain processes where their endocannabinoids are on. That means they are blissful by nature, their experience of life is pleasant, naturally. When this is there, why would you think anybody would take their life? Why would you think anybody would be depressed? I know there's a whole lot of people who, if you utter the word depression, they're usually pouncing on me for that, because they heard the word depression only probably from the diagnosis they got for themselves. The word depression is not only clinical depression. If two things go wrong with your life today, you could be mildly depressed. Well, you will talk yourself out of it, otherwise you will talk to your friend or family and they will talk you out of it. Otherwise, you will seek professional help. If there was no way out of depression, why would a psychologist sit with you and talk to you for hours? Obviously, he knows he can talk you out of it. And otherwise, chemical help. Right now, when it comes to chemistry, this human mechanism is the most sophisticated chemical factory on the planet. The question is only this: are you a great manager of this chemistry or are you a lousy manager of this chemistry? This is all there is. Yoga means you become a very efficient manager of your own chemical factory.